I would like to give the floor to Mr. Mac Florendo, joining us from the Philippines. Mac is the founder of Food Rescue Philippines, a nonprofit and volunteer-based group that works with food establishments. It aims to reduce food waste by collecting unspoiled food waste from markets, households, and business establishments and delivering these products to poor, homeless, and low-income families. The initiative won him the Young Southeast Asian Leaders Initiative, Seeds for the Future grants competition in 2015. Food Rescue Philippines was given the distinction of winning a spot under the 10 Accomplished Youth Organization, TEO, in the Philippines in 2017. Mr. Florendo was also a fellow under the YSEALI 2015 Academic Fellows Program on Environmental Issues at the East-West Center, Hawaii. He is a graduate of the University of Silliman, holding a degree of Bachelor of Mass Communication, graduating with honors as cum laude. Currently, he works as a voice artist and video creator. He also heard that he's pretty good at doing a card trick or two. On that note, Mac, all yours.
Hey guys! Alright, can you guys hear me? Perfect! Great day everyone! Now, I would like to greet everyone with a very common Filipino greeting. Kumain na ba kayo? Which means, have you eaten already? Have you guys had your lunch? What about you, Kota? Perfect!
Yes.
Alright, so whenever we meet someone, when we meet friends or we meet like strangers, we ask them, have you eaten? Or I don't know how you say it in Japan, like tabemashita ka, something like that. So you want to check on others if they have eaten, and usually it's yes. But think about the other people who haven't eaten already, or they don't have the chance to purchase their everyday meals. So it's kind of difficult to ask that question. So like I would say, like, you know, the poor people around us. And let me just stop the music just to make it, you know, serious a bit. Anyway, I'll share my screen and let me know if you see it. So yeah, I'm very excited to share this with you. Cool. All right. So again, you can call me Mac. Now, I'm not really an expert in any like food or nutrition. I don't really cook. I'm not a farmer. I'm just a regular guy. I think I'm just like most of you guys. So again, I just want to show you this photo. Can you guess what fruit this is or what vegetable this is? Do you have any ideas? Maybe you can share in the comments. Oh, going back. Let me just check on the chat box. It's a potato, right? It's a potato, but it has an unusual shape. It looks like a heart-shaped potato. But what if the potato doesn't look like this? Maybe it's longer or unusually big, or it's too small. And most of the time, I know you guys know that this gets rejected, right? It doesn't reach the supermarkets or the grocery stores. But if you have this heart-shaped potato, you might buy it. Some people might not buy it because of how it looks, right? But my point here is most food and vegetables, they get rejected and they get wasted. Now earlier, some numbers were shared for Japan. I'm just gonna share some numbers in the Philippines. But this is more. I'm gonna start with global. So we all know that 1/3 of the world's food is wasted annually, right? So more than 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted every single year. And I'm pretty sure it's getting, like, larger numbers, just increasing. So here we have a photo. This is like a usual market in the Philippines, like a public market. So as you can see, we have squash here cut into half. So we already have the culture in the Philippines, like, okay, if I have a fruit and some part is bruised or turning brown or darker, we just cut it off, then we can sell the other half for half a price, right? But it doesn't happen in all supermarkets, or it doesn't happen in all establishments. So we all know that this gets wasted because these are perishable goods, right? So vegetable, they don't last really after 3 to 4 days. At the same time, that's just one problem. On the other hand, we have Filipinos who consider themselves as poor, right? So that's probably half of the Filipinos consider themselves poor. What more now during the pandemic? So difficult to get, or like where to get our income, even food. And 36% of those 50%, they consider themselves as food poor. Of course, they get food, whatever food they receive from help from government, but they don't really know what's best for them in terms of nutrition, right? And guys, thank you so much for commenting in our chat box. I think it's better if we make it more interactive. If you have questions now, just ask it right away. Yeah, and the reason I'm maybe just to give you a little like something about me. Again, I'm not like a foodie guy. I don't cook. I'm not really a farmer, but we all know that everyone needs food, right? The first thing that you think of when you wake up is probably Facebook, but after that is it's food, right? Or you drink water. It means it's basic for everyone, right? Even if you're rich or poor, if you're a teacher, a student, you need food. It's a basic thing. And the problem is just right in front of our faces, right? Whenever we eat something, like some people, they eat a bit, they don't like it, then they throw it away. Some people, they just like, even if they get like a cup of rice, they're already very happy. So very different perspectives, right? And we need to understand it. Anyway, just to give you more numbers, in the Philippines, we have 300,000 metric tons of rice wasted every single year. And of course, the number is just increasing. And these are all boring stuff. But we know, guys, so much food is wasted. Japan, Philippines, even Philippines, like a poor country like Philippines, we also waste food because of different standards in like restaurants, right? In supermarkets and all that. In the Philippines, see, with the amount of the rice wasted every single year, it could have been feeding 2 million Filipinos. Imagine, why do you think there's a problem of excess food and hungry people? So for me, it didn't make sense. So much food and so much hungry people. How come it doesn't connect? Didn't make sense for me. And of course, there's a number of factors, right? The prices are increasing, they're not affordable. Even the delivering or the transporting of goods from the farms to the market, it's not really accessible in the Philippines because we don't really have good transportation services. We don't have good roads. We don't have the best system. So a lot of food wasted just transporting food, right? Or even we all have also different factors like not paying our farmers right? So poverty and all that. So what can we do? We have two problems right now. Hungry people, so much food. So this is where food rescue came in. Now, food rescue is not an original concept. It's not something that I started. It's a concept that has been going around the world. So I first heard about food rescue when I was in the US. I was in Boulder, Colorado. So what they do is they talk to different food establishments and ask, "Oh, what do you do with food that you don't sell, or like surplus food, but still really good food? What do you do with them?" And most of the time, if you ask even your establishments, they throw it away because they don't want to stock like food because they need like new batches every 3 days. For bread, should be like morning and afternoon. Like bread should be hot every time it is served, right? So it doesn't mean that all of the food gets sold right away. So much food is wasted. So what they do is they talk to establishments and then they ask, like, where does this go? And have you heard about food rescue? Is it possible if we get your food and give it to people in need? The simple answer is maybe or yes, right? Because the thing here, we want to educate. We want to educate people that because the problem of food wastage is also environmental, and we all know that here. I think most of the people know about that. Like food waste creates methane, which is like as worse as carbon dioxide, which is as harmful. Like it's very harmful for our environment. That's why we have global warming, climate change, and all that. And we need to educate that. We need to tell people about that. Because why not? Because we're experiencing the same problem almost every single year, right? Getting hungry, natural disasters, even for Japan, right? And what's my point here? I think because food, like really, it's a really basic thing, very basic problem, but then there's a lot of things going on around it, right? Does it make sense? Anyway, just to make it simple, for me, I started doing food rescue in my little city in Dumaguete in the Philippines. So I started copying the idea when I was in the US. So what they did is they just used their bicycles. They go around the stores and ask for extra food. Do you have extra food that is still good to eat? And can we give it to people in need? Can we give it to the church? The answer is, why not? Yes, of course. And then step 2, you need to look for a recipient or a church or a shelter who wants to receive food. If you ask someone, or if I ask you, Kota, do you want free food? Of course, yes. Right? So it's very simple. Extra food, then we give it to people in need. So, and what's the mode of, or what's the method of doing all that? Bicycle. So in my little city, most of the people ride bicycles, skateboards, or rollerblades because it's a small city. And instead of just, like biking around, why not make your biking more meaningful with delivering all this good food and sharing it to good people? So I started it alone. I was alone when I did it. And people start to notice it, right? And friends started to join because they understood. Because part of this is really educating all them about environment, food, nutrition, helping one another, right? So just to give you a little idea, we receive 50 to 500 kilos of food every single day, and we like feed to 100 people every single day. Fruits, vegetables, mainly fruits and vegetables, because we want it to be consumed right away. So we work with a lot of volunteers with transportation. Like if you want to reach farther places, then we use cars instead of bicycles. And we take all types of food, bread, fruits, vegetables, except meat, except dairy, because it's super difficult to handle. All right, so what we do now is we do it online. We don't use an app because in the Philippines, most people use Facebook. So we just use Facebook to do all the operations. And because who would download an app just to rescue food? I think not many people would do that. So what we do is we contact the food establishments. If they have food, then we call our volunteers, say, let's do the food rescue and give it to the nearest shelter or the church. It's very simple, guys. And then, yeah, of course, we need to receive good food, packaged well. That's a very important requirement. We don't just take food that's like bruised or like opened or something. We don't like. It should be untouched and clean. And the volunteers, we also train ourselves to check food, smell it, touch it, taste it, maybe, and make sure we are like delivering good food around. And of course, we don't just give to anyone or any churches. We want churches to have their own kitchens, refrigerator, utensils, and all the things that they need to feed people. So that really here, food rescue it's not an organization. It's not like a big project that we want to be known to the whole world. Food rescue is just a concept. It's a culture that we want to share. It's a lifestyle. Like our organization doesn't have to be big. It's very simple. So many questions that I want to ask you guys, like, who do you think deserves to be fed? Is it hungry bellies or the dumpster? Right? So it's a very simple question, but then you get to think, yeah, it makes sense, right? And I believe that food gathers everyone around the table. I'm a Filipino speaking to all of you, and we're all gathered here just because of one topic. It's food. And I'm super excited to learn more about your practices or the best food that you have in your countries. I'm super excited to share more of us as well. And in the Philippines, yeah, we celebrate food, but then again, we want to go back to education. And I'm super happy that I'm invited here today with all of you guys. And yeah, I think we continue the conversation about food and sharing best practices to lessen food waste. And yeah, I'm super excited to learn about your thoughts and insights as well as we go along. So that's it, Food Rescue Philippines. You can also start your own food rescue in your countries. You can message us that we can help each other out.